Two of the game's marquee players won't be in the lineup tonight. Ken Griffey Jr. of the Cincinnati Reds, and of course Big Mac, Mark McGwire of the Cardinals. For Bob Boone, it's been a struggle in his first season at the helm of the Reds. The same cannot be said, though, for Tony La Russa. The Redbirds are in first place. They're paced by a high-octane offense led by J.D. Drew. The Cardinals continue to pick up big numbers. And tonight, Andy Bennis looks for victory number 4 on the year. Fernando Vina, while in Milwaukee, led off each game either by a hit by pitch or a base hit. One of the league leaders in hitting. He hopes to play tonight as the Cardinals and Reds play the first of a 3-game set. But we have rain right now in the forecast, and rain taking place as we speak. The tarp is on the field. It was just put on the field probably about 5 minutes ago, but it should clear up in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Once again, Dan McLaughlin alongside of Al Raboski, and welcome back to Synergy Field in Cincinnati. This road trip continues. It's been very, very long for the St. Louis Cardinals. When we conclude on Sunday, it'll be 4 cities in 2 weeks. If you keep your head above water and play pretty decent baseball, you look ahead and you say there's a lot of home games, number one, and a lot of teams to beat up on in the Central and advance yourself in first place.
Sure, you have to play 81 at home and 81 on the road, so if you can get rid of your longest road trip early and feel good about it. And right now the Cardinals are 5-4, but they have a chance to get 3 victories or 2 out of 3 against the slumping Reds team. But I think what we're experiencing right now may be the order of the day all through the weekend. We might have scattered rain throughout the whole series.
Andy Bennis will make his start tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. He'll be opposed by a right-hander you probably haven't heard of. It's a look at our Chrysler Jeep starters, and Andy Bennis will make his 10th start of the season.
Well, Andy has struggled a little bit, but you know he's a competitor and he'll find a way.
On the flip side, Chris Rietsma, who is 2-4 with an ERA near 5.
Well, he got off to a great start. He won his first 2 decisions at the major league level, but he's dropped 4 straight. He's from Canada. He had never pitched above Double-A before this season.
Kerry Wood had a 1-hitter this afternoon. He blanked Milwaukee, a complete game 1-hitter, 1-0. So as we speak, the Cubs are tied with the St. Louis Cardinals. But back to Andy Bennis. How have you felt about his progression this season? He's always a slow starter, but he is getting better.
Yeah, I think one of the main factors was he had to feel that his knee was going to support his frame. He is now starting to drive towards home plate instead of spinning off to the side, so he'll have a little better velocity. He's starting to learn how to pitch with a changeup and a curveball, but I think it's probably taken a little bit away from his slider. But I think if he pitches inside, and he's got more weapons with those curveball and slider and the changeup, that he'll get the job done.
We'll take a quick timeout here on Fox Sports Net. We're at Synergy Field. As we speak, they're taking the tarp off the field. That's good news. We hope to have baseball when we come back on Fox Sports Net. Dan McLaughlin, Al Raboski, and welcome back to Synergy Field. And they call this the new Synergy Field. Really a different look here, isn't it?
Oh, very different. I actually think it's a much better improvement. One, the grass is much better than artificial turf, but you take out the wall there, and they've moved home plate back 10 feet to create this new artificial wall. Because it's only $3.99 to center field, they put that big black backdrop. They've decreased the seating by 13,000. Very interesting that they have replaced it with Kentucky bluegrass, but grown in Indiana.
And that bluegrass has been a subject of conversation for many games here at Synergy Field. At first, it was thought that it was very quick, and a lot of the infielders weren't happy with the way that this was configured.
Well, and I noticed that it looked like it's very thick now, and probably will slow down the ball, and they'll be happier about it. But, you know, of course, right beyond the left field wall, they took out all these seating because they're building their new baseball facility, and it looks like it's going to be quite cozy. And it's hard to believe, but it looks like they're going to have a very short right field porch in the new park that will open up in 2003. There you just see that cement wall back there is floodplain. You know, it's a floodplain, so it's really a flood preventative wall. It's not part of the new construction, but it will face the river. And the river is very high right now, and it'll have a short right field porch, Seems like they're kind of gearing it for guys like maybe Griffey.
Maybe that guy, Ken Griffey Jr. And apparently he's about 80% ready to go. He was on the field at about 2 o'clock this afternoon doing different exercises to strengthen his hamstring. Of course, he's been out since spring with that torn hamstring. Did have some plate appearances as a pinch hitter, but unsuccessful in those appearances. We probably won't even see him next week against the Cardinals back at Busch Stadium. But one guy we might see is Mark McGwire. And visiting with manager Tony La Russa, McGwire seems to be making much progress, and Tony La Russa seems to be very optimistic of the fact that he could play next week. Now, it's not for certain, but we might see him during the homestand at some point in time.
Well, let's hope that when we do see him that he's 100% and he can stay healthy throughout the year. All those optimistic reports about Griffey are erroneous. They're hoping he'd get him back in July.
Now to the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals. Vina to lead things off, followed by Polanco, then Edmonds. He was going to hit 6. He was bumped up to the 3rd spot in the order. That's because J.D. Drew came up with a sore neck. Then Pujols, Langford, Renteria, Kerry Robinson, his 2nd consecutive start after being the hero yesterday, and Mike Matheny, and then the pitcher Bennison on the mound. Chris Rietsma, a Canadian, making his start tonight.
Well, his first 3 starts, he got a no decision, then he won the next 2 in fine fashion. But his last 6, he is 0-4. And he really has a pretty good arm, but it's probably the advanced scouts got a little book about him. Fastball, changeup, and a curveball.
Defensively behind Rietsma here tonight for Cincinnati. Around the horn we go. It's brought to you by Dobbs. Casey at first, Selby. Pokey Reese filling in at 2nd. Brandon Larson filling in at 3rd. Juan Castro is at short. Yes, it does seem like their Louisville club, their AAA club. Dimitri Young, he's in left. In center, Ruben Rivera. And in right, Alex Ochoa. And Kelly Stinnett is behind the plate. They have had all kinds of injuries, haven't they, Al?
Oh, they really have. And, of course, Rietsma, had never pitched above Double-A before he came over in the Dante Bichette trade. Makes his major league start this year. They've had 3 guys make their major league starts, but their regulars are all hurt, and they are really struggling. Have their worst home record in the major leagues, 6-16.
Here is Vina to lead things off. And we're underway. It's 7:24 here in Cincinnati. A little later than we expected. Fernando Vina leads the team with 6 stolen bases, 7 infield hits, and 2 bunt hits. And he leads this game off. Going down the right field line, that's a fair ball. Into the corner it goes. Vina looking maybe for 3, but he'll stop at 2nd. A leadoff double. The last 5 games now, he has led off the game some way, somehow, but he gets on base.
Well, that's what you have to be, a table setter, and he is the guy that kind of starts the fire. Good start. High fastball. You know, he's a left-handed hitter, but he likes that ball up there. Just by inches does it fall right inside the right field line. Ball up over the plate, and he lashes it there for a double. Of course, he leads the National League in singles, so he'll take a couple extra base hits.
Absolutely. Here's Polanco. He'll be asked to move Vina over. Placido hitting .333. Edmonds awaits on deck. The first 2, Polanco shows bunt, pulls back.
6'5", 214. He's only 23 years of age. And he was acquired from the Boston Red Sox along with another left-handed pitcher in exchange for Dante Bichette on August 31st, 2000.
Vina at 2nd, nobody out. We're just underway. 1-1 count now on Polanco after the swing and a miss. The one thing that Rietsma possesses, and we just saw it there, is a very good changeup.
Changeup is probably his best pitch, but you better have a fastball to go with it to set it up. And then his breaking ball is not, you know, it's kind of still in the infantile stages.
A little flat.
Probably telegraphs it a little bit, is inconsistent with it.
1-1 pitch to Polanco. Low and away. 2 balls and a strike.
Kelly Stinnett, the veteran catcher. Jason LaRue catches more and more of the pitchers, but Kelly has become the catching person for Rietsma. And they say he is excellent at blocking the balls in the dirt.
7-game hit streak on the line tonight for Polanco. And the next two. Hit up the middle. Reitzman knocked it down, and Polanco is out number 1. That may have been a base hit if he doesn't get a glove on that. And that saves a run. Vigna to third. And an RBI opportunity for a struggling Jim Edmonds.
Well, Tony La Russa is very appreciative of the fact that Edmonds were working extra hard today with video, talking with Mike Eastler, trying to do what he can to get out of his slump. You see the 328 average, but on this road trip, he has really struggled. And J.D. Drew, who normally hits in the third spot, was taken out of the lineup right before game time with a stiff neck. There you see last 10 days, 138.4 for 29.
Breaking ball, the strike to Edmonds. He has seen his average dip to 328. Albert Pujols is on deck.
I got the Edmonds bobblehead here, but I'm not going to rub it because it didn't work.
Quickly 0-2. Fastball in there for a strike. So a chance here early on for Jim Edmonds and the Cardinals to grab the early lead. You can see his May. He has struggled at 254 with a pair of home runs and 7 RBIs and much lower numbers compared to what he did in April. Reitzman from the belt with Vigna at third. Edmonds ground ball right side, and that's just foul. Reitzman was a guy that was pretty much a throw-in really in that trade. He is coming back from 2 elbow problems in which he broke bones in his pitching arm. His velocity was down to 86, 87. He showed up in spring this year and was topping out at 93, 94. Edmonds sticks the bat out, hits it right side. That'll be an RBI. Selby over to Casey, and a good job of hitting there by Jim Edmonds. 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, most important to get a lead, and you'd like to do it with an RBI single, but getting the RBI is the key. Got a pitch that he was able to pull. Like it was something off speed again, and he just kind of hooked it with his bat. And here you can see Vigna scoring the first run of the game. That is so important for a team like the Cardinals to get out on a lead with a club that's struggling like the Reds.
RBI number 29 for Edmonds. 1-0 Cardinals. Breaking ball. The first pitch is strike to Albert Pujols. Pretty impressive day yesterday and impressive numbers so far this season. One of the great stories in baseball, Albert Pujols. 1-1.
See the hit leaders. Of course, you know, when Albert seemed like we would have thought he would have been the unanimous rookie player of the month of April. Reitzman got at least 1 vote. He was the only player other than Pujols to get a vote in the month of April.
Pujols in the hole here with a ball and 2 strikes. Take a look at our Casino Queen leaderboard and Albert Pujols. And the Cardinals batting average on the road as a team hitting 265 in the top 3.
See, the Cincinnati Reds are second, 278, but as I mentioned, 6 and 16 when they play here at home.
Breaking ball, and Pujols swung through it. First strikeout of the night for Reitzman, but the Cardinals grab the early lead. Jim Edmonds with RBI number 29 to drive in Vigna. 1-0 St. Louis. Bottom of the first we go at Synergy Field in Cincinnati. The Cardinals have grabbed the early lead. 1-0. It's Vigna scored the only run of this game. Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Reds. Ochoa, Young, and Casey here in the first. Rivera, Larson, Selby, Castro, Stinnett, and Reitzman. Sean Casey has been very good against the Cardinals in his career, and Andy Bennis will make the start tonight.
See, 9-4, 3.41 ERA and 16 starts here at Synergy Field this month. He's 2-2, ERA better than it has been. And they keep on feeling better and better about Andy because of the way he's throwing in between starts, getting more acclimated to the scene, what his new repertoire of pitches are, and more strength in the knee.
Ochoa to lead things off for the Reds. This is the 11th time in his career that he's been a leadoff man. The last time was back in 1996, so it's been a while since he's been in this spot. Lots of changes for the Reds in their lineup, and the first pitch from Bennis is a strike.
A lot of changes from the original lineup that was posted. At first, Pokey Reese was going to be in the leadoff spot, and he was scratched.
High fly ball deep into left, and this game is tied. A bomb by Ochoa. His third home run of the season, RBI number 19, and it's a 1-1 game.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Ochoa gave it a ride. He was scheduled to be the third hitter, and now you think about some home runs from that spot. But he ties this game 1-1 and gives a big lift to his teammates. Let's take a look at the location. Remember, Andy has to be successful going in. He tries to get in there, but he just turned on it and hit it out of the ballpark. Out there where they're building their new facility that will open up in 2003.
Here's former Cardinal Dmitri Young. Lots of talk about Young, Pokey Reese, and Sean Casey, all trying to figure out if they can stay here in Cincinnati. These young players, they want to tie him up. Young is tied up on this play. Bennis covering, and he got him. Let's go around the horn defensively, and that was a good play by Albert Pujols in the lead to Andy Bennis. It's brought to you by Dobbs. Pujols is at first. Vina, he's playing second once again here tonight. Placido Polanco gets the start at third. Renteria is at short. In the outfield, it's Langford. Edmonds in center. Kerry Robinson, a late insertion into the lineup for Tony La Russa as J.D. Drew came up with a stiff neck, and Mike Matheny behind the plate, the Gold Glover. And here's Sean Casey off to a brilliant start in 2001. He looks at a strike. All-star a couple of years back. Last year he was battling injuries from the get-go, and that really hindered his season, but he's back on course to what he can do, hitting .329.
Casey's leading his team in hitting, hits, doubles, homers, and RBI. He's the National League's leading hitter on the road with a .405 average. But he hit only .304 in the most recent road trip, where Cincinnati was 2-4.
Talking before, guys like Casey and Dmitri Young and Reese trying to lock these players up. For Jim Bowden, it's tough to do.
Very tough, because you got Griffey Jr. and Larkin, signed mega deals.
Griffey Jr. is supposed to make $12 million. He deferred some of it, so he's at 9.5, and Larkin's at $9 million. Dmitri Young at 3.5. Casey's up there. But as far as trying to re-sign these guys, it's going to be tough, and they're expecting them to sign for less than market value, and Pokey Reese said absolutely not, no way.
And that's why Bob Boone's looking to the heavens. Yeah, he needs some help. Just trying to find healthy bodies has been a tough.
2-2 pitch. Grounded sharply, bobbled by Pujols, stays with it, and he'll take it himself. With him at first, he had the time to knock it down and make the play himself, and it was hit sharply by Casey, and Casey does not run all that well.
See, he tries to trap it there and gets to it. Andy did a good job of covering, but he told him, hey, I can get it. You've got plenty of time. Anytime you can avoid making that extra throw, you should do so. Just step it and do it yourself.
Ruben Rivera in the cleanup spot for Cincinnati tonight.
It's been an enigma. He was released from San Diego, and Bob Boone said he's been a model citizen since coming here. Actually told me the 27-year-old from Panama has more talent than anybody on the field, but if you look at his career numbers, you'd never know it.
Just a .215 hitter in his 7th season. Nobody on, and strike 3 called, and a strikeout for Andy Bennis. After 1, A 1-1 game with Langford due up for St. Louis. Hey, Cardinal fans, on Sunday, June 3rd, the Cardinals play the Reds. It's Coca-Cola, Walmart, bobblehead doll night at Busch Stadium with that man, Jim Edmonds. And no, you cannot have Al Hrabosky's finger as part of that promotion, but he will be there cheering on the Cardinals. It's a look at bobblehead night for Jim Edmonds, commemorating his Gold Glove feat from a year ago, and will be a bobblehead later in the season for Mike Matheny, but that's coming up on June 3rd. Here's Langford hitting .279, and Rietzma pulled the string there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ray's done most of his damage. See the last 10 days, .375 average, a pair of home runs, 4 RBIs, but a .343 average on the road this year with 7 long balls.
Langford, Renteria, and Robinson here in the second. 1-1 game. Edmonds has an RBI for the Redbirds, and Alex Ochoa solo home run. To the first meeting of 5 series between these two teams. The Redbirds were 6-7 against the Reds a year ago in home games. Langford hitting just .210 on the road, though, near .350. With better power numbers. Langford draws the walk. First walk of the night. And that'll bring in Edgar Renteria. Ray has 1 stolen base on the year, and Langford says he'd like to run just a little bit more, especially in the next month or two, but see if he gets the chance to do so.
I think we all would like to see the club be a little more aggressive on the base pass, but there's a time and a place.
The first to Renteria is a breaking ball and a strike. Edgar just hitting .232. This is a guy that needs to pick it up offensively.
Well, he's really struggled against right-handed pitching, and there's no reason to figure it out. .232 overall, .359 against left-handers, and only .174 when he's got a right-hander on the mound.
The 0-1 pitch. Langford is off and running, and it's fouled away.
Rietzma has about an average move to or time in his delivery. He does have a slide step that he can speed it up a little bit.
No balls, 2 strikes on Edgar. See the difference from this season to last year?
Not much difference in the RBIs. That's the part that's surprising.
Yep. One and 2. Kerry Robinson is on deck. Fouled away. Stays 1 and 2. Renteria just got a piece. Took that pitch the other way. Nobody out here in the second.
Now, speed pitch. You got to try and think about going to the opposite field.
Crowds are down this year at Synergy Field. A big reason for that. The injury to Junior. It's fouled away again.
Yeah, they're down and they're struggling a little bit. I think it has become a little easier to navigate around these highways, as now the football stadium is built right behind home plate here, and it looks pretty sharp.
Yes, it does.
And now that they've got the pilings and pillars starting to go up, taking shape in the new baseball park. I actually like this park much better now that they've gotten rid of 13,000 seats in the outfield.
The grass makes a huge difference as well.
Grass makes it a lot prettier. That backdrop, the black backdrop, is in play. 3 times balls have hit it.
1-2 pitch. Renteria pops it up. Selby in shallow right puts it away. Langford back to first, and that's out number 1. Let's turn to our Hyundai key matchup of the night. The Reds, you can see, have really struggled here at home, Al.
Yeah, they have the worst record in the major leagues, 6-16. They don't hit as well as they do on the road. They don't score as many runs. Their home runs per game are the same, and really pitching is no much difference. But it just comes down to the offense, and it's a struggle for Bob Boone to find a healthy 9 to put out there.
Well, the Cardinals were batting just 200, 8 for 40 with runners in scoring position over their 5 games leading up to yesterday's finale at Milwaukee. But Kerry Robinson, as he made his first major league start, came to the rescue, and he had a key 2-out hit, 2-run single in the 5th, and that proved to be the game-winning hit.
Kerry actually did play a little bit here in Cincinnati, where he was a Cardinal farmhand, was unprotected in the expansion draft, taken by Tampa Bay, and then traded or came over here as a minor league free agent to Cincinnati and back into the Cardinal fold. And it's fun to see him, St. Louis product, fun to see him playing well and fulfilling a lifetime dream.
Yep. He chooses to slap one left side. He's got a lot of room between third and short. Larson guards the line. Throw behind, and that's into right field. Langford is off and running. Around second he'll go. Here comes the throw in, and Langford is safe. So with just 1 out, Ray stands at third base, and Stinnett his 2nd error of the season.
It's their 41st error of the year. Tries to pick him off. The catcher throws it by Casey, kind of gets down into the right field area, and Ochoa, who has a strong throwing arm, he challenged it, but his throw was wide at third base.
That almost got away too.
Yeah, and so a golden opportunity for Kerry Robinson to pick up another RBI.
He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Langford is at third, and a 1-1 game here in the 2nd.
They pull the infield in, which a slap hitter like Kerry's only going to help out.
Yep.
He hit the ball hard a couple times, one time right to the shortstop with a high leap.
He drives this one into left. A line drive. Dimitri Young had to back up. He'll get it in, and it's an RBI for Kerry Robinson. And the lead for St. Louis. That makes it 2-1. Robinson with the RBI.
Nice going, Kerry. It's not his forte, driving in runs, but you give him the opportunity to put the bat on the ball. And Tony and his teammates will show their appreciation.
He's really done a nice job being called up.
I've really enjoyed watching him, and I can't wait to see him hit a triple or see him fly around the bases.
He makes you think of those great 80s teams, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The way he slaps the ball, the way he can run.
And he's a good little outfielder. He's doesn't possess a strong throwing arm, but he's a 4th, 5th outfielder.
He's made a case for himself to stay for a while.
Sure he has.
Here's Mike Matheny as a steady rain now begins to fall. With 2 outs in the 2nd inning, 1 ball, 1 strike, and Matheny hitting .219. You can start to see him coming out of this little slump that he was in. He looks much better at the plate.
Let's watch where his hands are. See, they've tried to lower his hands a little bit. Still has a tendency that he'll get underneath, get a little loop in there, but he'll hold his hands a little bit lower. Then he gets to a set mechanism. He'll bring them back and then ready to pull the trigger, and it's a shorter stroke.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hot shot to third. Brandon Larson over to Casey, and that's the 3rd and final out here in the top half of the 2nd. But the Cardinals regain the lead. Kerry Robinson, the RBI to drive in Langford. 2-1 St. Louis. Bottom of the 2nd we go at Synergy Field. 2-1 Redbirds with the lead. Coming up later tonight on Fox Sports Net, the Midwest Sports Report. Right after the game, what is next for Rick Yankeal? We'll take a look at that. Jeff Gordon of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch has his take on the Blues and his report card, and John Hadley on the Cardinals coming up after this game.
Mary Crawford is the crew chief here, and he's been in communication between innings with the grounds crew, and they will alert him as to what the radar looks like. And usually when they come out and talk to him, it doesn't mean something's good.
Right.
It means that rain could be imminent, and they usually have a pretty sophistication, have it down to where they can tell you when it'll rain hard enough to where they might have to cover it. But I think this is what we're going to experience all 3 days.
Yeah.
It's been raining here for a week.
Third baseman Larson to lead things off, and he takes a strike from Andy Bennis.
And of course, the Cincinnati Reds, they just came from Chicago, where they lost a 3-game set there, and they had more than 6 hours in total rain delays in that 3-game series.
Right back to Andy Bennis. Albert Step on the bag, round number 1. Coming up tonight after the game on that Midwest Sports Report, they'll talk about what to do with Rick Ankiel, and another bad outing for Rick. Talking with Tony La Russa before the game, they are again considering all options. Bullpen, do you send him to extended spring? Do you shut him down? Do you put him in the field? He was on the phone with Walt Jocketty this afternoon trying to figure that out. Rick Ankiel, what would you do?
I'm staying out of this.
Staying out of it.
Nobody asked me for my opinion, so I'm not going to offer it. They got other people that have their much wiser than I. They know what they're doing. Donnie Sadler. This is Shelby. You got so many new guys, you're trying to figure them all out.
Shelby pops it into left. Langford coming on and puts it away for out number 2. We talked to Andy Bennis before the game about how he approaches throwing his fastball.
I throw a cross-seam fastball, and if you look at the ball, it looks like a horseshoe right here. I just throw it across those seams. Guys that throw a sinker or a 2-seam fastball, they're throwing them with these 2 seams right here. I feel like I have a lot better control across the seams, so I basically just throw all cross-seam fastballs and feel like I'm going to be able to beat you with my location.
Of course, Andy, what you want to do as a pitcher, you want to have a lot of movement. And there's one thing when you say you have better command with it, but does that mean movement? He has very little.
Of course, his fastball has diminished as far as miles per hour.
But it's good enough as long as you
locate
work both inside and outside. You know, the old statement on pitching, it's location, location, location.
0-2 to Castro is inside. And Alan Bennis is finding that out.
Sure, but I was very encouraged by Allen's outing the other day. He had better velocity, and you know, he was hitting his spots, and he didn't let the umpire bother him. And that new curveball of Allen's is much tighter. So Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan were very encouraged by it.
2-2 pitch from Bennis to Juan Castro is popped up into shallow center. Edmonds coming on, calls off Binion, puts it away. 1-2-3 inning. Pair of flyouts and a ground out for Andy Bennis. The Cards have the lead. They're up by a run. 2-1. The Redbirds have the lead as we move to the top of the 3rd. They'll continue to work on the mound, and as long as nobody complains as far as the pitchers are concerned at the mound and the rain does not pick up, we'll have baseball. Well, we talked about why the Reds have struggled. Here's the evidence because of all these guys on the disabled list.
Well, Griffey, the hamstring, Larkin, the groin, Aaron Boone, surgery on his right hand, Harnish the elbow, Williamson his right elbow. Dimitri Young was in a collision with Donnie Sadler. This is his first game back in about 3 or 4. Pokey Reese was supposed to start this game, but kind of weird that he had a broken thumb a couple years ago, had a screw inserted in that thumb, and that was 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden now the screw is starting to cause some irritation, some problems with his, hand and batting. He hasn't played since last Wednesday. A lot of walking wounded along with the guys on the DL.
What's on tap? Tell you about upcoming telecasts this weekend will be coming to you. Of course, tonight on Fox Sports Net. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock on WB11. The Cardinals and the Reds. And we'll bring you Sunday's action as well, an afternoon game. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud. Bob Boone, in his first season at the helm of the Reds, an outstanding player. Career that spanned 19 seasons. For 2,200 games he caught, which at the time was a major league record. Gold Glover 7 times in his career, and Andy Bennis steps in and looks at a strike. He had a nice conversation with Mike Shannon during our pregame show, talking about the nuances of being a catcher at this level and some of the guys that he likes to watch play now. Certainly they had a good one here in Cincinnati. Arguably the best.
How about Johnny Bench, the Hall of Famer? Because he had the whole package. He was not an outstanding hitter, but he was a great catcher, thrower, and everything else. There's number 5. Johnny still works in the organization, but Joe Morgan. Yeah, but the thing is about, Piazza's just going to eclipse everybody with the offensive numbers, but never considered to be an outstanding catcher.
Ball and 2 strikes on Andy Bennis. He grounds it left side. Third baseman comes in. That's Larson. Over to Casey, and there's 1 out.
And Larson a little bit overmatched at the offensive end of this game. Rietsma, mentioned, never pitched above Double-A until this season. But you still have to beat these guys, and they're going to do everything they can to stop you.
Vina led off the game with a double. He'll come in here in the third with nobody on and 1 out.
And of course, the Cardinals must win tonight to stay in first place.
Chicago has won. They beat Milwaukee 1-0. Kerry Wood, a 1-hitter. He's now 3-4 on the year. Had a no-hitter through 6. Mark Loretta, the only hit of the game for the Brewers. That was at Wrigley Field.
Yesterday, John Lieber 1 hit the Cincinnati Reds. 3-0 victory for the Cubs, and now it's the first time in 208 games that the Reds have been shut out.
Right.
It's a National League record. Did you see what the Major League record is?
I did, but I forgot what the number was.
300 in some games by the Yankees. 308 games by the 31-33 Yankees.
You have to go all the way back for the Reds. It was like a playoff type game. It was a play-in game. And Al Leiter blanked him when they were in postseason play, but technically not in postseason play. Ground ball to first. Casey takes it himself. It was a tie between the Reds and Mets at the end of the season. They played that final game to see who gets into the playoffs, so that's considered game number 163. Polanco will come in. 2 outs and nobody on, and a 2-1 Redbird lead. Placido hit it back to the pitcher sharply. Rietsma made a nice play and knocking it down. Taking a peek there at third. First pitch of ball. One ball, 1 strike on Placido. Starting at third tonight with Pujols at first. J.D. Drew not making the start with a stiff neck, a game time decision. One and 2.
This curveball may be a little better than what we were led to believe, because it sure seems to be fooling hitters.
That's laced into right for base hit. A 2-out base hit for Polanco. Ochoa cuts it off and gets it in quickly. For the Cardinals, their second hit of the night.
Right down the middle of the plate. Good inside-out stroke for his single. Polanco, of his 49 hits, 42 of them are singles, which ranks second to Vina in the National League. Look at that, huh? We're in sync. It's good and it's bad. Good as long as you have guys behind you to drive them in.
Here's Edmonds. He has an RBI tonight.
Now, I didn't rub his bobblehead. It's going to be given away on June the 3rd, a week from this Sunday night, and he got an RBI. So I mean, that's our theme tonight.
0-2.
Popped his jaw a few times later, you know, just to show it.
Rub the bottom of that bobblehead.
Well, you got to do that for defense.
Oh, okay.
You know, because it's got the gold lettering signifying his Gold Glove award that he won last year. That's the defensive end.
The strikeout here, and that's how we end the top half of the 3rd. Edmonds called out on strikes. The second strikeout of the night for Rietsma. 2-1, Redbirds on top. Bottom of the 3rd we go. 2-1, Redbirds have the lead. Here at Synergy Field in Cincinnati. This day in Cardinal history. May 25th, 1998, Mark McGwire became the first player in Major League history to hit 25 home runs before June 1st. That was against Colorado in the first inning. This day in Cardinal history brought to you by Schnucks. There's Barry Bonds now has done that.
I was going to say he's the first, but not the last.
No. Bonds is on a tear. He hit number 25 last night. The rain has been pouring down for the last probably 10 to 15 minutes. A lot of the umbrellas are out. Pretty steady rain. We had a slight delay at the beginning of this game. About 20 minutes. And yes, we are ready. If you would like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinals home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192. St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Good luck from Southwest Airlines and all of us at Fox Sports Net.
Danny, when you kind of look at this makeshift lineup and we showed all the injuries that the Reds have, people might wonder, well, where's Deion Sanders? Well, he's just got a sick bat. Take away his opening night where he was sensational, 3 for 3. He's hitless in his last 16. We're talking about Deion Sanders. And if you take away that season debut, he's 4 for 41. That's less than 100. And 1 for 22. So
there's Deion.
What a difference between that's what it is overall. Big difference between AAA and the major leagues today now.
Next by Bennis is a strike. 1-2. Kelly Stinnett. Deion the week before he was called up hit 700.
Well, he was leading the International League in hitting at 459 when he was called up May 1st. Had that great debut and struggled since.
1-2 pitch is a base hit into left. And Stinnett is aboard. Just the second hit of the night for Cincinnati. The other is a home run.
Let's just see where this ball is. See if it's not up out over the middle of the plate. See Matheny's glove going up. Can't do that. It's got to be on both sides of the plate, but not, you know, it can't be up in the strike zone.
Chris Rietsma hitting 188. Will be asked to move the runner over.
3 for 16.
He squares and the pitch is outside. Polanco way in at third, charging on the grass. Pujols holding and then charging. He's at first. Runners to net. Cho is on deck. He is homered against Bennis. Rietsma squares. A 1-0 pitch is popped up. Pujols gives chase as well with Matheny, but out of play and a foul ball. Evens count.
still wonder and amazement why pitchers, they see a guy scoring around the bunt. Remember, Andy missed the first pitch. They missed down. Throw the ball up. Get that pop.
1 ball, 1 strike. Next to Reitsma. The foul ball. He hit it on his face.
Yeah, him in the face, but he was still in the batter's box.
1 and 2. Looks like he's just stabbing at the ball.
It was really funny watching Ben Sheets in Milwaukee try to swing the bat or do anything. I mean, he had never hit. A lot of times you have pitchers that are some of your star players in amateur ball, and he had never done anything that way.
That's popped up. Pujols drops it, but he'll go to second for 1. That's all they'll get.
He's out. The bat. There's a little confusion.
Lead runner's out.
Yeah,
right.
He didn't realize that they called it safe. Now Boone's going to come out here and say that he did it on purpose. I don't think he did. I think whether he lost it in the lights or not, they moved home plate back, or back 10 feet, and it's a tough play for the base runner. But one thing is, once the ball gets down, you advance. He's coming out here. He thinks that he's caught the line drive, so he comes back, and then he's trying to figure out what's going on. Now he knows he's out, but then he's going to try and come back. Boone is arguing that he did it on purpose, and it's a home play. It's a judgment call, and Jerry Crawford said no, he didn't. Comes in here, see, he started turning his head like he's trying to get the double play a little bit too soon. So that's why I didn't think he did it on purpose.
To be honest, I thought he did it first, but then watching the replay, I don't.
And I'd rather have the trade-off. Get rid of, even if it's a catcher.
Absolutely.
I want the pitcher out there.
Here's Ochoa. Had a leadoff home run and is only at bat. Laces this one into center. Edmonds is there. That came up on him right at the end, but he made the play for the second out.
Danny, another thing that's telling me that the lights, when they moved home plate back, that they didn't reconfigure the lights. As you see him sitting there, he got it in a blind spot. Yeah, and you watch what he did. Is he all of a sudden the lights, you know, they have these lights computerized to where they direct them. Now you move the plate back 10 feet, and it changes the angle for the outfielders. And if you watch his mouth right after he catches the ball, he sees it, now it goes into the bank of lights, so he spins away from it, and then he goes, wow.
He hung with it, made the play, and that's out number 2. Here's Dimitri Young. Grounded to first. It is only at bat. He's 0 for 1. Casey's on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Where Dimitri likes the ball. And this is a hot zone. He's a switch hitter, so this is where he is batting from the left side. Kind of interesting that 194, the middle half in, that is not lit up.
Been battling a sore knee. He was involved in a collision a few games back. You always liked Dimitri, didn't you?
Oh, sure. You know, I mean, he's just a great young man. He can hit. You know, it's just he had some defensive liabilities, and he's improved dramatically in that fashion.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He was hot on their last road trip. He had 375. He's in his 6th year, close to a 300 career hitter. The 2-2 pitch from Venice. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. The pitcher, Rietsma, will move up to second. With 2 outs, that'll bring in Casey, their most dangerous man in their lineup.
Know where our hot zone was? And that pretty much was out away from him, but he just bounced it up the middle. That was one of the cold zones on the hot zone, but hey, still, anytime you have an average, you're gonna pick up some points out there.
First and second, 2 away, and here's Casey. Routed sharply to Pujols at first, and his only at bat. First pitch by Bennis. He is popped up, but that'll find the seats and out of play. How do you pitch Casey?
He's such a good hitter. You've got to pitch him. You can't stay in one location. You've got to pitch him on both sides of the plate. A lot of time, high average hitters, you think that they've got to be able to handle the breaking ball. Still going to jam him a little bit, I would think.
They go inside there, but miss. 1 ball, 1 strike in the hot zone for Casey.
When I say jam somebody, I always talk about going up and in, up above his hands, locking him up, especially when he holds it so high. But you can see if you're in the middle of the plate, he likes it. He also likes it up out over the plate.
The next to him. Ripped, but right to Pena. Gathers it in over to Pujols, and the Reds have stranded a couple, and Bennis gets out of the inning. We're through 3 here at Synergy Field. The Cardinals lead it 2-1. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Auto Tire, the right place for the right tire. By Aflac, without it, no insurance is complete. And by Steak and Shake, famous for our steak burgers. Rain continues to fall here at Synergy Field. Not enough, though, to stop play as we move to the 4th inning. Crowds have been down by about 8,000 as compared to last year, and a lot of hype surrounding King Griffey Jr., of course, last season. And he was somewhat disappointing for his standards, and as a team they were disappointing. They were expected to take the Central, but that didn't happen. Here's Albert Pujols. Pujols, Langford, and Renteria. Albert looks at a ball. Struck out. It is only at bat tonight, hitting .361.
Came back yesterday and got 3 hits, but he's been slumping a bit.
1-1.
Like pitchers of late have been jamming him more, breaking a lot of bats, but first time up he struck out on a pitch away. They're trying to come in now.
He hit the spot. 1-2. Pujols is second in the league and hitting behind Rich Aurelia, who's hitting .371 for San Francisco. 1-2 breaking ball, and that didn't do much breaking. He wanted to jump on it.
I think you're going to see maybe the second time through the order that they're going to be a little more used to that breaking pitch. You guys took it more so than swung at it. Back inside.
With the 1-2, Pujols. One hopper. Good play there by Castro. Gathers himself and throws him out. That was hit sharply off the bat of Pujols, but a good play by Castro to his left to get him. Out number 1 here at the top of the 4th.
Looked like they set up inside, and the catcher kind of went out of way, but shortstop saved him. Castro comes over, goes to his left, and rights himself and throws across the diamond. Kind of speared at it, grabbed it, made a nice play.
Here's Ray Langford. Walked and scored. First pitch to him. Drive into right. Ochoa going back. Misplays it. Langford on his way to second. Hustling in. He's safe.
And you're absolutely right. He misplayed it. He didn't read it off the bat. He came across when he should have gone back. Just that little hesitation allowed the ball to get over his head. Ray hits this ball very hard. A lot of top spin. And Ochoa now goes back on the ball, and I think he even said, uh-oh. But he's got a great throwing arm. And boy, he came out there, and good thing Ray was alert and going in slide. Now, I saw Rietzma, the pitcher, right before, I think when Pujols was up, grab his finger. I think he's got a blister or something there. As you see Don Gullett, the pitching coach, and the trainer come out, along with the umpire. Both bullpens are out in the right field region. They got a pretty good view up there, right? Somebody's jungle gym set.
Yeah. See if Rietzma is going to be okay with one out here in the fourth.
I thought they were going to have him throw a pitch or two, but apparently he says he's okay, and Renteria is ready to tee off.
Edgar tonight is 0 for 1 on that pitch and fouled it back. Langford is at second, just one out, and a 2-1 Cardinal lead. That foul ball went straight through the camera hole. Line home plate.
Check and make sure the camera or camera person is okay.
1 ball, 1 strike on the Redbird shortstop. Edgar came in hitting just .232. Now down to .230. Ochoa given an error. Breaking ball, fouled back.
How do you give an error?
Now that's been taken away. It was up and then came back down. So no error to Ochoa.
I was going to say, that's double all the way. You might have misplayed it, but you can't give him an error.
Thinking the same thing.
And we like Ray.
Yep. Renteria sticks the bat out and fouls it away. The rain has picked up a bit.
Seems like Renteria is always out on his front foot, reaching for something.
Langford at second. Renteria pops this down the right field line. Slicing foul. One-two pitch to Renteria. Ground ball left side. Castro bobbles it. Can't make the play. First and second. And a base hit. Give it to Edgar. He's 1 for 2.
That would have been a tough play. Not only deep in the hole, but considering the fact that the grass is red, it's going to be a little slippery, and Renteria runs pretty well. So it would have taken an exceptional play. Tried to backhand it. Loses the handle on it. Ray thought about going to third, and the play was in front of him, so he wisely chose not to, because you can't assume that he's going to bobble it. His best play would have been to play at third right in front of him.
4th hit of the night for the Redbirds. Here's Kerry Robinson. What a sac fly and an RBI his first time up. Good speed on the base pass, and the first pitch is a ball. You can see the rain now picking up. Chance here for Robinson and the Cardinals to extend their lead. Renteria at first and Langford at second.
And you hate to say it, but they really are only concerned about the batter's box and the pitcher's mound.
Yep.
As long as people aren't complaining there, they'll try and go on as long as they can.
2-0. Rietzma hasn't had much help behind him. Air by Stinnett, that led to a run. Misplay by Ochoa this inning. Castro bobbled a tough play off the bat of Renteria, but possibly could have been made. carry. Robinson looks at a strike. 2-1. Robinson has been very good off the bench as a pinch hitter. Reached base safely in 7 of his 13 pinch hit appearances. Getting the start for the second consecutive game. The next 2. Base hit opposite way. Langford being waved home. The throw by Young to the plate. It's in time. And Langford is gunned out. Renteria to third. Robinson all the way to second. And Dimitri Young shows a strong arm from left there.
No, but it's worth the gamble.
You want to test him, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. You want to test Dimitri. Remember, he played for us. We know he doesn't have a good throwing arm, but he has improved. He does come in aggressively, and he makes a throw, and it took a good throw. And one of the things, too, that you don't mind is you've got to challenge, force clubs, even at the major league level, to, force them, and more times than not, they'll make a mistake. And both guys were able to advance. But it took a good throw by Dimitri. This time he answered the challenge. And where you are in the batting order, you're talking about the 8th and 9th in the batting order, and now they're going to intentionally pass Matheny.
With a base open and Andy Bennis on deck, this makes sense. Load the bases with 2 outs.
You would have had the bases loaded, 1 out, but you had Mike coming up, and you'd like to think at the very least he would have got you another run, but it was worth the challenge.
So the bases will be loaded for Andy Bennis. Matheny will walk towards first. Bases loaded. Let's turn to our trivia question for tonight. Our Affleck trivia question. Which Hall of Famer made his major league debut 50 years ago today? We'll answer it in the bottom half. Bases loaded with Renteria at third, Robinson at second, and Mike Matheny at first. You'd figure a base hit would score 2 here with Robinson's speed at second. The first to Andy Bennis, who grounded to third in his only at bat. He's 0 for 1.
Well, the answer to a trivia question.
Position player, pitcher, what was it?
Position player.
Two and 0 to Andy Bennis with the bases loaded.
There's Andy, he's got 7 home runs. 97 career hits, looking 3 more for 100. Already has 4 RBIs, so better not take him lightly.
Chance here for Andy to help himself. With 2 outs in the 4th and a 2-1 lead. There's a strike. 2-1. Rain is let up just a bit. 2 balls and a strike on Andy. Pops it foul behind home plate, not a play. Evens the count. Andy, those 4 RBIs in just 14 at-bats this season, trying to add to his total. And extend the inning to Vina, who's on deck. Struck him out. So Bennis leaves the bases loaded. Riensma gets out of the inning with some help from Dimitri Young. Gunning down Langford at the plate to keep it a 2-1 lead. Bottom of the 4th we go. Redbirds have 5 hits on the night. Andy Bennis just left the bases loaded, and it's a 2-1 lead.
If I'm not mistaken, our answer to our Affleck question is he was something like 0 for 16 before he got his first major league hit, which was a home run off a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Let's Let's take a look at the question again, brought to you by Affleck, our Affleck Trivia question. Which Hall of Famer made his Major League debut 50 years ago today?
Any guesses?
I leave that up to you.
Well, I already know the answer.
Willie Mays.
And I think that first hit was off of Warren Spahn. Went on to hit 659 more. Say hey kid. But I think that one time he was worried about being sent out until he got that, and I'm not sure if he hit 1 or 2 home runs that day off Spahn.
Best player ever?
I'm not going to say that. I can't make that type of judgment. He has to be in the top 5 or so. Talk to any of the guys of his era, they always rank him up there.
Rivera looks at a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Struck out in his only at bat tonight. Larson to follow, then Selby. Not go around. 2-1. Hit sharply. Vina was playing up the middle and makes the play. Rivera's 0 for 2, and that'll bring in Brandon Larson, their third baseman, who has under 20 at-bats this season because of all the injuries, getting playing time here in the major leagues.
Celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday. If you recall, on May the 16th. Larkin went on the disabled list. He was hitting .248 in Louisville. And so far here at the major league level, he's 1 for 16.
Rain has really picked up again. Ground ball, Vina. 2 down. That'll bring in Selby. Cardinal fans, on Sunday, June 17th, when the Cardinals play the White Sox, it's Pasta House Coca-Cola Pennant Day at the ballpark. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a pennant featuring pitcher Matt Morris, courtesy of the Pasta House and Coca-Cola. That's Sunday, June 17th. The Cards take on the White Sox, a 1:10 start at Busch Stadium. Here's Selby. Flying to left in his only at bat. 2-1 Cardinals with 2 gone, nobody on here in the bottom half of the 4th. This may be the hardest we've seen it rain tonight.
Umpires will do everything they can as this ball gets out of play.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Selby hitting just .167. He went around, and that's out number 3. Selby wasn't running, and Mike Matheny tags him out for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Andy Bennis. That's his second strikeout on the night. We'll move to the 5th. The Cardinals up by a run. Every Sunday before the green flag drops, it's NASCAR This Morning, the best pre-race tailgate party this side of Talladega. We'll preview the latest developments trackside and get you ready for this week's race. NASCAR This Morning, Sunday at 7 in the morning, right here on Fox Sports Net. Kerry Wood struck out 14, a 1-hitter. And the Cubs beat Milwaukee by the score of 1-0. So at this point, they are tied with the Cardinals as Vina drops one down, but Rietsma flips to first, and there's one away. So the Cubs and Cardinals in first place in the Central. If the Cardinals win it, they're back up. Vina's 1 for 3 with a run scored.
Well, tried to drop that bunt down, get on, and In one sense, you see Tony kind of hoping to get this inning over with and still maintain the lead, make an official game, but only if you're leading.
Placido Polanco with Edmonds to follow. He shows bunt, takes a strike. Grounded sharply back to the pitcher his first time up. And singled last time up. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Tony La Russa saying Mark McGwire might be back for next week, and that would probably hinder some of the playing time for Polanco, but he'll get some starts at third and short. Pujols, of course, can play right, left, third, first. McGwire will not be able to play every day, we presume.
And you probably wouldn't think that he would play all 9 innings.
Right. One of the concerns with Polanco is him wearing down. Castro has to be quick. He got him. Kind of let up on the throw, but just in time to nab Placido Polanco.
Good reason why you run hard all the time. Remember, this ball is going to be wet, so it might have slipped a little bit with his release and a bang play, but it does show that they did retire Polanco.
And that'll bring in Jim Edmonds. 2 down and nobody on, and a 2-1 Redbird lead. Jim has an RBI. He's also struck out. He fouls that one away. It's been a while since we've seen Jim Edmonds go deep. Last time was against Kerry Wood a few weekends ago. Last homestand. Breaking ball grounded to second. Selby to Casey in a 1-2-3 inning for Reitsma. Through 4.5. Redbirds on top 2-1. St. Louis with the lead as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Let's turn to our Pennzoil protection play of the game. Just a few innings back, Kerry Robinson trying to drive a man in, but Dimitri Young would come up gunning, and he would nail Ray Langford at the plate. A one-hopper and a strike to the plate to keep it a 2-1 St. Louis lead. And our Pennzoil protection play of the game, Dimitri Young with a strong throw from left.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. Did make a strong throw. Remember that ball going out on the wet grass, going to be slippery. All the reasons why Oquendo should have sent him, and just this time he was a little bit better, but still I think it was a high percentage and it was worth the gamble.
Castro to lead things off, the shortstop for Cincinnati, a 2-1 Redbirds lead. And a strike. Castro fly to center. One. Breaking ball fouled off the mask of Mike Matheny after hitting the ground. 1-2. Castro has been busy in the field here tonight. He hit it sharply. Last time up to Edmonds at center, almost lost it in the lights. Next by Bennis, misses to even the count. Dustin Hermanson will throw for St. Louis tomorrow night. He's 5-1. Has a 4-game winning streak. That just missed in a full count.
And yeah, I'm sure wanted that pitch. Looked like it was very close. This is a key pitch right now at this point of the game.
Fastball left side and past Polanco into left. So a 3-2 pitch and a base hit.
Danny, we've been talking about Andy. Basically used to be a slider fastball pitcher. Now he's incorporated a couple new pitches, utilizing the changeup more and a more effective curveball.
Speaking of that curveball, Andy Bennis.
I get right along that seam and I try to cut the ball in half. I just basically want those two fingers on the ball, and then this finger's on the ball real lightly or off the ball, and my thumb is under this seam. So all it basically is this finger pulling down on the ball. So when I throw it, I'm just coming right down over the top, and the ball's going to spin like this.
The easy way to think about throwing a curveball is pulling down on a lampshade.
How does his curveball differ from a guy like Kyle that's 12 to 6?
They all want. They all. The fact is that his is not 12 to 6.
Next by Bennis.
And it used to be very rare that you would have pitchers throw curveballs and sliders. Usually what would happen is they'd have two mediocre pitches. They wouldn't have one dominant pitch. And that's really how the term came about, a slurve.
Stinnett up the middle for a base hit. Castro around second. He'll move up to third. And it'll be first and third. Nobody out here in the fifth for Cincinnati.
Stinnett 2 for 2 today. He's hit the ball sharply both times.
We may see a pinch hitter right here with the pitcher.
Right, he's going to. You know, you've got to. The rain factor comes into play right now. You do not know about the weather report. You want to get the lead right now because it is an official game if they have a lead, even if it stops this in their half of the inning. If you got a lead, all you need is 4.5 innings. And so Boone right now is going to play this game for this inning. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens.
He'll send up Michael Tucker to the plate. He has just 5 hits in his last 41 at-bats. And he's had a season-high 0 for 17 skid. The year hitting .266.
But in this case, you want a base hit and at least tie the game, or a sacrifice fly, wild pitch, pass ball, error. The percentages that he'll get at least the ball in the air.
First and third, nobody out. A 1-run lead, and now the appeal at second. None doing.
Castro was running on the pitch, so that's why he ended up at third base, and they were banking or assuming that he had missed second base when he went around it.
First pitch coming from Bennis to Tucker. Swing and a miss.
Looks like the rain has slowed down and not stopped. So Boone is gambling on the weather. Tony's hanging on. It's got chilly in here. Not only damp but cold.
First and third, nobody out. Redbirds up by a run. Tucker takes a ball in to even the count.
And remember also that Rietzma, the starter for Cincinnati, went out there one time, which I think was maybe a blister starting to develop, so that might be a factor of trying to get him a lead right now.
1-2. Be big to get the strikeout here. Ochoa is on deck. He is homered. Hit the ball hard twice. Bennis is set. And the 1-2 pitch. Rope, but foul.
Okay. Hope his hand's all right. Boy, he got it good. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball. Make sure you locate it.
The next to Tucker. Up and in. To even the count at 2-2.
Crowd reacts, but Tucker knew that ball was just trying to be a fastball in. And you, as I mentioned, most of the time you want to get it above the hands, and there's a little margin. Now a slider. Back door.
High fly ball lifted into left center field. Edmonds is there. That's deep enough to tie the game. Castro comes home. He tags up. And that makes it a 2-2 game and the RBI for Tucker.
Now they're trying to throw it out over the plate, but at this time he was able to go out there. He missed out there a couple times, and he swung through pitches. This time he got a piece of it, lifted it hard enough, far enough that they tie the game.
Here's a Choa with 1 out and a man at first. He homered to start things out offensively for the Reds back in the first on an 0-1 pitch, and it was a bomb, no doubt about it. He's 1 for 2. He's also hit the ball very hard to Edmonds at center. 2-0. Forty-four-year-old Jesse Orosco was called up today by the Dodgers.
Good for Jesse.
He's pitched in more games than anyone in Major League history.
Yeah. Fortunately, he didn't do that many for us.
Nope. Dodgers put Eric Karros, their first baseman, on the 15-day DL.
Has back problems.
Right. 3-1. Pat Henkin also is sent to the disabled list, the former Redbird a year ago for the Orioles. Popped up. Back in the first, Alex Ochoa tied this game up with a deep home run into left on an 0-1 pitch against Andy Bennis. The count here is full. His third at bat against the right-hander. Base hit the opposite way. Robinson will get it in. And Stinnett moves up to third. So with 1 out, a chance for the Reds to take the lead here in a 2-2 game. The third hit in this inning.
Twice they have started the runner at first base. Both times it end up with a base hit and a runner on the corners. You see Stinnett running. If he doesn't make contact, Stinnett is a dead duck with Mike Matheny throwing, but the base hit sends him over to third.
Dimitri Young, a chance to give the Reds the lead here in the 5th with just 1 out, first and third, and the first pitch is strike. Young has grounded to first. He also has a single. The Reds on the night have 6 hits.
Mike James is starting to loosen in the Cardinals bullpen.
Cho is at first. Stinnett at third. No balls and a strike on Dimitri Young.
He's had his problems with hitters 1 and 2 in the order, and then 7 and 8. It's all the base hits.
Cho and Young on the night are 3 for 5. 1 and 2 in the order. The next 2, Dimitri. Might be a double play. Bobbled though and lost by Renteria. So instead of getting out of the inning, an error on Renteria. And this inning continues. The Reds have the lead. They've played it 2 in this inning. It's 3-2 Cincinnati.
Well, you cannot assume a double play, but that was a double play written all over it. Hits it hard, which is part of the equation. Right to your shortstop. He's close enough where he can step on the bag, but first you got to catch it. Right underneath the glove, came up ever so slightly, and back runners at the corners. That's the 6th error by Renteria, and he's been a little shaky in the field as well as at the plate.
Now it brings in arguably their dangerous hitter in the lineup. That's Casey, hitting .325. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He's hit the ball hard twice, though. A chance here to add to the lead, which is now 3-2 Cincinnati. This one into center. Base hit. One hopper to Edmonds. And Casey has an RBI. His 39th of the season as Ochoa scores. And it's a 4-2 Cincinnati lead. They've played it 3 now in the inning.
And you can't give teams extra outs. Where Matheny is, and look at the ball just up out there. He fights it off and just muscles it over the infield. There's been 4 base hits, a sacrifice fly, and an error in this inning. They have plated 3 and have taken the lead 4-2.
Castro, Stinnett, and Ochoa have all come around to score. As Al mentioned, 4 base hits in the inning against Andy Benes.
Got to execute, got to make the plays behind someone.
Just 1 out, first and second. The breaking ball misses to Ruben Rivera. He is struck out and grounded out. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Maybe still battling out there.
27 years of age from Panama, Ruben Rivera. Pitches up and fouled back.
Star with the Yankees change, Mariano Rivera's cousin. And he came over to San Diego, and a lot of players and $3 million in cash. Had his problems in San Diego. He could play great center field for you, but he just didn't hit. They finally released him this spring, and the Reds, in one of their reclamation projects, picked him up.
Popped up on the infield. On number 2.
By the way, Andy, get one more.
It's up to Larson.
You'll see a bat boy comes out of the dugout to wipe off home plate. That courtesy will not be extended when the Cardinals are hitting.
More than likely. Bounce to the plate. Good block by Mike Matheny.
Just, you're helpless when a ball bounces that far out in front of the plate. But Mike, with that great technique. And that Rawlings chest protector looked good. An extra padding on that one. Look like it.
First and second. That pitch grounded sharply to Polanco. And he'll tag out Dimitri Young, and that's the 3rd out here in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th, and damage done in the bottom half of the 5th. The Reds play 3. A costly error by Renteria. They've got the lead 4-2. To the top of the 6th we go. Cardinals trail for the first time in this game by the score of 4-2. Looking for a new idea for your child's birthday? For kids 15 and under, the Cardinals Birthday Bash is a great way to celebrate that very special day. Each child receives a special visit from Fred Bird and a Cardinals gift bag, while the birthday child receives their name on the stadium message board along with an autograph ball by one of the Cardinals players. Give the sales department a call at 314-421-3060 to schedule your child's birthday bash today. Costly air by Edgar Renteria. Last inning cost Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. The Reds played 3 in the 5th, and it's a 4-2 Cincinnati lead. Scott Sullivan is the new pitcher. Tucker stays in the game in left. Sullivan can be very tough on right-handers. Kind of a sidewinder, appearing for the 24th time this season.
Well, Danny, as you look at those numbers, he had a very high ERA of 7.30 in April, but 2.12 so far in May. In 2000, became only the 2nd pitcher ever to lead the major leagues in relief innings for 3 straight seasons. Hoyt Wilhelm did that, 52 through 54, and no pitcher has led the majors in relief innings for 4 straight seasons.
Strike taken by Albert Pujols underway here in the 6th inning. 4-2 Cincinnati.
Sidewinder, submariner type, real tough on the right-handers. You got to keep that front shoulder in.
As we get along the season, who do you think it benefits? Albert Pujols to be up there time and again, or is it beneficial for the pitchers, you think? As a book kind of gets out on the 21-year-old rookie.
So far, he's been able to make adjustments, so whatever they adjust to him, he kind of responds. Very interesting to see if they don't try to keep his workload down. I mean, it's one thing that he plays every day. The other thing is how hard he works before the game. I'm talking about extra hitting, going off, hitting off the tee, doing this and that, and he really is dedicated and wants to work hard, but playing every day, it takes its toll.
Two pitch from Sullivan. Swing and a miss, and Pujols strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. And that's how we start for Sullivan.
I like this guy ever since I saw him come to the big leagues. This is what his average is this year, but I always mentioned he struggled a little bit early. Finding that release point and that groove, eat up a lot of innings, and he's very valuable.
Here's Ray Langford. He has reached base a couple of times, scored a run. He was thrown out at the plate. Part of our Pennzoil protection play of the game. Dimitri Young threw him out. That was back in the 4th inning. After he had doubled, tried to come around and score on the base hit by Kerry Robinson. 1 out, nobody on, and it's 0-2. Ray on the road has been better than his numbers have been at home. Much better. On the season, hitting .285. Strikeouts, though, of major concern. They are up again. 1 ball, 2 strike. Reyes is warming up in the Cincinnati bullpen.
See Reyes, who took a couple days off to go visit a witch doctor, voodoo doctor, or somebody down in Mexico to try and help him with his ailing arm a little bit. Don Gullett, pitching coach, what a fine pitcher he was. You talk about great winning percentage.
1-2 pitch. Langford laid off it to even the count. The 2-2 from Sullivan. Gullett was one of those guys, Al, that came up at a very young age and had immediate success.
I want to say he was about 19 or something when he came up.
Langford pops it up. Larson puts it away for the second out. And it's up to Renteria. Rain begins to fall once again.
Well, Don Gullett ended his major league career with arm injuries, but he was 109 wins and 50 losses. And of course, I got a good friend of mine I saw last night, Joe Fleming, who's from Kentucky, where Gullett is from. And Joe lives in St. Louis now, and he told me about. Joe was a big Cardinal fan, but he did go hid behind a tree when they unveiled a statue in Don Gullett's name at his hometown. He said it was in Lynn, Kentucky. He said they weren't too experienced at doing these busts on top of a mountain. And when they pulled the sheet off it, the bust fell off.
Pitch to Renteria, 2-1. Trying to atone for an error that led to a couple of runs last inning. He's 1 for 2 with a single.
Danny, that's the wrong frame of mind. You know, sure, you feel bad, want to do everything you can, but you can't try and put extra pressure on yourself. Just relax and do what you're capable of, no more.
Count on Edgar Renteria. Gary Robinson is on deck.
Just relax, Edgar. Make sure it's a strike. Soft hands. Don't grind it into sawdust. That away.
And he rips that. That's a fair ball. Larson gets up. Guns! Got him! Wow, what a play! That's a heck of a play by Brandon Larson to end the top half of the sixth. A diving stop to catch Renteria. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers for tires and complete auto service. All you need is Dobbs. The rain continues to fall here at Synergy Field in Cincinnati. It's been off and on throughout the evening. Had a late start to this game, a delay of about 20 minutes. And we're in the bottom of the sixth. Selby, Castro, and Stinnett. Last inning against Andy Bennis, 4 hits and 3 runs. The Reds took the lead. He pulls the string there.
Andy is the 3rd scheduled hitter in the Cardinals, 7, so this will be his final inning to work. Make it a good one.
Fly ball into center. Edmonds backing up and makes the play. Selby retired for the 3rd time.
Dmitry Young left the game with a bruised left knee. That's the one that's been aggravated. He'll have an MRI done on it. And I think they said that Ritsema did have something on his thumb of his pitching hand.
The cameramen are very happy with the steady downpour. One out, nobody on, a 4-2 Reds lead, and here's Castro. Singled in the 5th. Fly to center, back in the 2nd. One pitch missed outside. 2-1. Vina out number 2.
Andy, way to bounce back.
Venice tonight has struck out a couple. He's not walked anybody. He's given up 7 hits. Home run to Ochoa. The error last inning certainly hurt. The 6th of the season committed by Renteria. Could have been a double play to get out of the inning. Instead, a couple of runs came around to score. Stinnett scored last inning. He's 2 for 2.
He's hit the ball hard both times off Andy. Remember, Tucker stayed in the game, so it's a position player behind Stinnett, 8th in the order.
Two and one. Cubs won this afternoon. Kerry Wood struck out 14, a one-hitter. They blanked Milwaukee, so they are tied as we speak with the Cardinals. The NL Central. Reds came into tonight's action 7.5 games out. Milwaukee is 2 back, Houston 2 back, and Pittsburgh is 11 out. Tucker awaits on deck. Next from Venice, ground ball. Renteria stays down and makes the play. So Tucker will be left to do up in the 7th. We'll move to the 7th. The rain is falling. The Cardinals need some base runners. They trail by 2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Coming up following this game, here at Synergy Field, the Midwest Sports Report on Fox Sports Net. Coming up tonight, what is next for Rick and Keel? Jeff Gordon's take on the Blues. He hands out his report card, and John Hadley gives his thoughts on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Midwest Sports Report coming up after the game. Steady downpour here at Synergy Field, and Kerry Robinson, who is filling in for J.D. Drew. Drew, a game time decision, out with a stiff neck. Robinson has stung the ball here tonight. He's lined to left. Sac fly, shows bunt, fouls it away. He also had a base hit, but Langford was thrown out at the plate on that hit. He's back in the 4th inning, so chance here for Kerry Robinson to get something going in the 7th.
And I just thought, but watching the grounds crew talk to crew chief in between innings.
Michael Tucker will put that away.
And then I saw Jerry Crawford go and talk to Tony La Russa. So I am of the belief that there's some bad weather that's very close.
In-game box score tonight. Vina and Langford, they have the runs. Edmonds and Robinson, the RBIs. For the Cardinals, just 5 hits. As Sullivan working in his 2nd inning after taking over for Rietsma. I think if you're the Cardinals and Tony La Russa, you see the pitcher's mound get it all slick. You get concerned about Andy Venice with that knee.
Well, you're pitch in for him anyways. You know, he gave you 6 innings. That's about his limit, and you're trailing, so you've got to try and get some runs with this kind of weather. And as you mentioned, that's a very good concern. They have done a good job of trying to keep the footing, not be slick. Steve Klein, Looks like he will come in and pitch in the 7th inning. Let's hopefully we can get a lead.
Michael Tucker will lead things off for them.
Sutton is going to pinch it for Andy.
Sutton is on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike on Matheny, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. The reports out of Houston that David Wells could be traded to the Astros, and Drake McClain confirmed that they have been talking, but nothing imminent. I asked Tony La Russa if the Cardinals would have an interest, and he said certainly they do, but the price apparently is going to be steep as far as prospects are concerned, and maybe too steep of a price for the Cardinals to pay. Two and two the count. Full count now, and the Cardinals catcher, Mike Matheny. Nasty night here in Cincinnati. Two Reds lead. Mike turns on the pitch, lifts it into left. Tucker is there for out number 2.
And just kind of a thought about that, about David Wells. Wouldn't the Texas Rangers be interested?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, 38 years of age, they don't have a chance to win.
They don't have any pitching anyway, so I mean, they might as well send a statement to their team. Yeah, they can't win this year, but I mean, you know, they were so misguided in thinking that all they do is add offense was going to help their pitching staff that was the worst last year.
They're 17 and 19, 16 and a half back. Seattle's off to that great start at 33 and 12.
And Oakland now is starting to come back.
They had what, a 7 or an 8 game win streak. They're just a game under 500, but 11 games back in second place.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't make sense for this year because this year is blown. But I mean, and you're right about 38 years of age and saying if he doesn't get his $10 million option year picked up, he's going to quit. He comes with some baggage.
Makes you wonder, a guy with that kind of talent as Sutton lifts this into left, how he could be with so many teams. And Tucker's going to put it away. He's been busy this inning. He puts away 3 flyouts in left after taking over for Dimitri Young. Sutton flies to end the top of the 7th. 4-2 Cincinnati. Cincinnati with the lead as we head to the bottom half of the 7th. Steve Klein will take over in this game, the left-hander, 28 years of age for the Cardinals. Michael Tucker due up first in this inning as the Cardinals trail it by 2.
Steve's going to appear for his team-high 24th appearance. Good ERA, 2.25, 2 saves. Opponents are only batting .229 against him. He's allowed runs in just 3 of his appearances. Tell you what, it's been a pleasure to be around him. What a good guy, and is he down to earth. It's the right temperament to play this game coming out of the bullpen. Doesn't let a good performance, you know, he kind of puts that aside because he knows tomorrow he could be right back in there, and you can't dwell on the positive, but you can say the same thing about the negative. Of course, when he's pitching, very few times is there a negative.
Michael Tucker, pinch hit back in the 5th, drove in a run. First pitch by Klein is up. Polanco way in on the grass at 3rd. Pujols is in at 1st. The outfield is straight away. Cho on deck. Cool on that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. But thanks to Steve Klein, a guest on our pregame show, Cardinals Tonight. 1-2.
You've been telling me that he's at times has kind of got down on himself a little bit for trying to make perfect pitches, and I'm just going to go after guys, be aggressive.
Ball and 2 strikes, and Tucker drives this into right. Robinson going back, makes a great play at the track.
He turned all the way around, but his great speed, and he is a good little outfielder. He was able to adjust and makes a heck of a play. That line drive right at you, but watch him. Right before that, he turned all the way around, and then it's sinking on him, and he goes down with it and holds on to it. Those are the type of plays you need behind you. They pick you up, and Gary, every time you see him, boy, he does little things. You know, he got a great disposition, great personality. You don't know he's around until all of a sudden he makes a play for you.
Almost looked like the way his body had kind of contorted out there that he was hurt, but he's fine. Made a nice play at the track. Here's Ochoa.
No, you have a defense make a play behind you, all of a sudden you pump up your chest, and your velocity gets a little better, everything's a little sharper. You say, okay, it's one of those nights, I'm going to have a good outing.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ochoa. Jason LaRue is on deck. Ochoa has homered here tonight. He also has a base hit, a couple of runs scored. Breaking ball and a strike. He's in the hole.
Do something really nasty to Steve Blunt. Every time he pitches, his wife Martine tapes the game, so we could tell Martine now, turn off the tape recorder, and we're going to really tell you about your husband.
Make sure she knows and he knows who just said that.
Well, now that the tape recorder's off, we'll just tell her what a neat guy he is. He's my kind of a player. He comes to play every day. He's ready. He works really hard.
The 2-2. Weak ground ball. Pujols has to be quick to Klein covering. And they get Ochoa.
Heck of a play there. Both ends. You know, you really respect Pujols so much because being moved around in 4 different positions, and he's very aggressive. He, at times, you know, Vino say, you know, I can make those plays for you. You don't have to go so far to your right. That the old PFP drill that you do in spring training, where anytime the ball's hit to the right side, you're over there and running. You don't have time to determine whether it's going to go to the first baseman or second baseman. And Pujols, if he makes any errors, they're usually because he's aggressive, not because he's laying back.
Jason LaRue will pinch hit.
For the pitcher, Sullivan. He's their catcher, young catcher that is going to get a lot of playing time. Good throwing arm, but still learning the nuances of receiving and calling a game.
He struggled though in the month of May. 8 for 40.
We can say that almost everybody on their team, as they have dropped 3 straight and have lost 18 of their last 23 games.
0-1 pitch by Klein. Driven down the left field line. Hooking. Fair ball. One hopper off the wall. And LaRue will trot into second. 2-out stand-up double.
Danny, they're pinch hitters. They rank last in the National League. They're only now 6 for 66. And this ball just fair and does not bounce out, so it stays in play, but LaRue could only get the double.
On Thursday, June 21st, the Cardinals play the Cubs. It's Bank of America checkbook cover day at Busch Stadium. The first 25,000 fans ages 16 and over with a paid admission receive a Cardinals checkbook cover courtesy of Bank of America. It'll be Thursday, June 21st. The Cardinals take on the Cubs at 12:40 start at Busch Stadium.
Now, Pokey Reese is going to pinch run. Pokey has a problem with his thumb, a screw that was surgically placed in there has been giving him problems, so he cannot bat, but they can utilize his running speed.
Casey will step in with 2 outs. Tonight he has a base hit and an RBI. He's 1 for 3. Hit the ball sharply in his first 2 at-bats, and nothing to show for it. His last at-bat, he blooped a single into center and picked up the RBI, hitting .329. Pitch, breaking ball. Vina's there to Pujols, and Klein gets out of the inning. Reds have left 5 on the night. We'll head to the 8th. It's 4-2 Cincinnati. To the 8th inning we go. It's 4-2. Reds with the lead. Game 1 of a 3-game set between these 2 teams. Let's turn to our advanced auto parts National League Central Division standings. The Cardinals and Cubs are tied now atop the Central. The Cubs won behind a 1-hitter of Kerry Wood. They blanked Milwaukee, so Milwaukee drops back to 2 games out. Houston 2 out. Cincinnati is 7.5 out, and Pittsburgh 11 games back in the Central Division. Our AutoZone divisional standings. Dennis Reyes into the game for Cincinnati.
He's been experiencing some arm problems. You see, he's 1 win, 2 losses, good ERA, 2.29. Opponents are only batting .138 against him. With 9 hits and almost 20 innings of pitch. Pokey Reese stays in the game to play shortstop, and Castro moves from short to second.
Top of the order for the Redbirds. Here's Vina. First pitch to him, swing and a miss. Fernando has a double. Came around to score on that double back in the first. He's grounded out a couple of times. 1 for 3. He's in the hole, 0-2. Vina, Polanco, and Edmonds. One and 2. That the Cardinals and Cubs are tied in the Central. Out west, all those teams are within 3 games. San Diego now leads the NL West by a game over Arizona and Los Angeles and San Francisco, and the Rockies are 3 out. Philadelphia up by 6.5 over Atlanta. Vina hits it left side. Pokey Reese to Casey and makes the play.
Boy, isn't he sweet?
Yes, he is. He is smooth. Was a shortstop in the minor leagues, but because of Barry Larkin, he moved to second base. Hey, Cardinal fans, if you're planning to take your family to Six Flags next month, the Cardinals and Six Flags have teamed up to offer families one of the best values of the summer. On Monday, May 28th, this upcoming Monday, the Cardinals play the Brewers at Six Flags Day at the ballpark. We are told there are plenty of seats available. All fans with a paid admission receive a Six Flags coupon with 2 great offers. Good for 1 free kids admission ticket, $12 off any adult general admission ticket. So your family of 4 can save up to over $60 in your next visit to Six Flags. It's quite a deal coming up at the ballpark this Monday. 1:10 start against the Brewers.
Hey, we're going to have fun with the Brewers. There may be some extra fireworks with some of the extracurricular activities that was taking place in that series.
think so for sure.
Oh, yeah, I bet both teams are warned before the first pitch is even thrown. That'd be a great deal. Get Six Flags tickets, see a great ball game, and whatever.
Could turn into a hockey game out there. You just don't know.
See what I'm saying in hockey? Went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah. Two and one, the count on Polanco. With Edmonds on deck. It's popped out of play. 2-2.
It's so important for Vina and Polanco to get on base, be the table setters, because the heart of the order, once we left Pittsburgh, the heart of the order has really struggled.
Polanco pretty well hit into left. Tucker makes the play. June 2nd, it's the return of Fox Saturday Baseball as the Cardinals take on the Reds at 12:15 at Busch Stadium. Watch the entire baseball season unfold across the Fox network. Also the Dodgers and Astros, Giants, Rockies, June 2nd. Our buddy Joe Buck will continue his network duties for the Fox network. Here's Edmonds. 2 outs and nobody on. The bullpen for Cincinnati has been very good so far. Taking over for Rietsma. Breaking ball misses inside to Jim. Sullivan a couple of scoreless innings, and now here's Reyes. Debbie Gruber from Clinton, Illinois, and Marge Gibson from Decatur are here tonight. Want to say hi to Don and Lindsay back home. Marge has been a Cardinal fan for over 60 years.
And the bullpen this year is 6 wins, 10 losses, 3.73 ERA in 46 games. They have 13 saves. Or no. Whatever this.
20 saves.
Yeah, but I bet they don't have 20 saves.
I would think that might be a misprint when you
They have 13 saves and 20 opportunities, but
bottom line, they have not won. 19 and 27.
the starters have an ERA of 5.27, only 13 wins. And you see Reyes, 6'3", 246 pounds, and he's only 24. Game with Konerko from the Dodgers.
Konerko is now with the White Sox, and they are struggling.
And Jeff Shaw was in exchange.
3-2 to Edmonds. Draws the 2-out walk. So the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Albert Pujols.
It's important to get that walk, and trailing by 2 gives Tony a chance. And now they're going to go to the bullpen.
Cardinals against the Central Division. See, they've dominated certain teams.
Have a 13-6 record in their division.
Reyes is done, with Pujols due up. 4-2 Cincinnati. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom. 30 years, one mission, low fares. And by Advanced Auto. The best part is our people. Advanced Auto Parts. Rainy, cold night in Cincinnati. Albert Pujols, though, represents the tying run. He'll step in with 2 down and Edmonds at first, and a new pitcher in for the Cincinnati Reds.
Andy Graves, their closer, takes over. He was an all-star last year, and you see his numbers. His ERA really kind of jumped up. He was 0.52, and then he had consecutive games where he allowed 6 runs in an inning and 2/3, and it went all the way up to 3.32. So he's dropped it down a little bit. He has stranded all 11 runners that he has inherited this year, including 3 times where he entered the game with the bases loaded and stranded all 9 of those.
Graves converted both save opportunities on this past road trip for the Reds. Their bullpen has been busy, but good. An ERA under 3 on the last road trip. Pujols lays off that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. They have tossed 4 innings or more in each of the last 4 games. So we've seen Rietsma, Sullivan, Reyes, and now Graves. 4-2 Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike on Pujols.
Catch by the skipper. Hand always gets stretched out when he catches balls with his hat.
Ball and 2 strikes on the 21-year-old rookie Albert Pujols. Tonight he struck out twice. Once against Rietsma, the other time against Sullivan. He's also grounded to short. 3 hits yesterday. Edmonds at first. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball got him. Pujols strikes out. That ends the 8th, the top half of the 8th. Cincinnati with a lead of 4-2. Bottom of the 8th we go. It's 4-2 Cincinnati as Alan Bennis will enter this game. Let's turn to our Pizza Hut perfect delivery of the game. And defense has been a part of the Reds' success so far tonight. That might have been the best play we've seen so far in the game by Brandon Larson. Diving stop at third in our Pizza Hut perfect delivery of the game. We also saw Dimitri Young come up with a strong throw from left field to get Langford at the plate. And Alan Bennis will make his 2nd appearance of the season.
Yeah, you look at last time he pitched, it was in Milwaukee, and 2 walks, but he pitched much better than that. He had 1 strikeout. His velocity was much better. Looked like he didn't have that hitch in his delivery anymore, the shoulder coming around, and much more arm strength. And he showed a better breaking ball. So I think it's significant in a game that's still a 2-run game that you're seeing Allen pitch this late. And earlier in this game, when Andy was struggling a little bit, you saw Mike James warmed up. So I think that is an indication that Tony and Dave Duncan like what they have seen.
Ruben Rivera, Larson, and Selby in the bottom half of the 8th. First pitch from Alan Bennis. It's bounced to the plate and a ball.
Trying to overthrow the curveball there. Of course, it seems like the footing of the mound is pretty good, so that could have had a little bit of a slippage.
Rivera tonight's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a ground out, and a pop out. Here's a ground ball. Renteria bobbles that one. That'll be his 2nd error in this game and the 7th of the season. He just does not look sharp.
Tony kept him out of a couple games, trying to let things kind of subside and think about it. Comes in and took a little hop to come up on him. And when things make a key error later, they kind of snowball on you. Struggling offensively. Does have one for 3 on the night, but sometimes you take that into the field.
Here's Larson. 0 for 3 with a pair of ground outs. A fielder's choice. See if Allen can get the double play here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Larson 1 for 18 since being recalled.
One and two.
A note from John Keys said the Keys brothers are here from Aviston, Illinois. Going to be here all throughout the weekend, rooting for the Cardinals. Want to say hello to everyone back in Clinton County.
1-2 pitch from Alan Venice, breaking ball and fouled away. Alan now has a couple of variations with that breaking ball.
What he's done is it's almost something like his brother was showing you, kind of taking the pressure off the index finger, and he's making it a little more sharper break.
One-two pitch, breaking ball. Polanco, Vina, double play. 5-4-3 double play. That erases that error by Renteria, and it brings in Graves.
A little breaking ball, and 5-4. Of course, Vina gets there even with a runner coming in there trying to clip him. Going to hurdle that and make the play. So that's a way for Polanco to pick up Renteria. Of course, Vina does. I mean, there's no one better than Vina turning a double play.
Graves will hit for himself. Alan Venice pitched in relief 30 times for the Cardinals last year, trying to recoup from those shoulder surgeries, a pair of them that sidelined him all of the '98 season and much of '99. The 0-1.
And it was a real shock when the day the Cardinals broke from Jupiter, Florida, and he went to the ballpark expecting to be on the team and pack his bags, and all of a sudden to get the word that no, you're staying down here and you're going to AAA. But I think now he realized it was better for him to be in the rotation, pitching every 5 days rather than pitching sporadically out of the bullpen. And there was no guarantee he was going to come back, but he went down there with the right attitude, and he's back up here, and he's armed. He's got more weapons now to retire major league hitters.
Yeah, he thought the key for him was the endurance and trying to get that. Kind of a similar situation to Morris, too, building it up a year ago. Breaking ball blocked by Matheny, and this will be a strikeout for Alan Venice. So that does end the Reds here in the 8th. Good work by Venice out of the bullpen. The Cardinals are down to their final 3 outs. It's 4-2 Reds. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Rain has been falling for the better part of the evening here at Synergy Field in Cincinnati. 4-2, the Reds have the lead as the Cardinals are down to their final 3 outs. Langford to lead things up for St. Louis. Rays stung the ball tonight. He has a double. He's also walked. Langford, Renteria, then Kerry Robinson. Larry Sutton has been used off the bench. We've not seen Bonilla. Drew has not been used off the bench because he has a stiff neck. Was to start. Rave stays in the game to face Ray Langford here in the 9th to start things off. First pitch swinging. Foul down the left field line and into the seats.
Drew's got the stiff neck. If he can't play, he can't play. But when you've got guys struggling a little bit, you miss one of your bigger weapons, it takes a toll. And looks like Buddy Bates is going to do some sewing tonight.
Cardinals took the lead in the first, 1-0. It was tied up by Ochoa with a home run. Cardinals regain the lead. There's a drive into center. Out number 1, Langford gave it a ride, but Ruben Rivera put it away. turn to our play of the game. I mentioned that the Cardinals were up 2-1. The game would be tied. This is our Bud Light play of the game. This could have been a double play to end the inning. Instead, it goes through the wickets of Renteria. The run would score as Stinnett would come across the plate. It would extend the inning to Casey, who would fist a shot into center to score another run, and that's where we stand. It's 4-2, and that's our Bud Light play of the game. It's Renteria. There's 2 errors in the game, 1 for 3 on the night with a single as the rain picks up. Nobody on. 1 out here in the ninth. No balls, 2 strikes. And next to the Cardinals shortstop is a base hit. On an 0-2 pitch, a breaking ball. Hung for Renteria. He stayed with it, drives it up the middle for a 1-out base hit.
Thataway, Edgar. You know, it's been a frustrating night for him. But you go out there and you keep on battling. You need at least 1 runner on base to get things going. So Bobby Bonilla grab a bat. He's going to the on-deck circle, so crucial at bat right here for Terry Robinson.
He has hit the ball well tonight.
Sacrifice fly, first time up, and a base hit. Almost scored Langford. He was thrown out at the plate, and then a fly ball to left. Hit that one pretty good too.
Yep. Goes the other way for a base hit. So here we go. Robinson, a base hit into left. And Bobby Bowe will step to the plate.
Pitch hit from Matheny. Alan Bennis will stand out there in the on-deck circle, but Bob Boone knows that that's just decoy. They only have Reyes, and they've used him from the left side. So if J.D. Drew was able to swing a bat, we maybe find out. Or otherwise, it'd be Paquette or Morero.
Good speed on the bases for the Cardinals. First and second here in the ninth, down by 2 runs. Graves has been met rudely in his second inning of work. Remember, Langford led off and hit it to dead center to the wall, and Rivera hauled it in. Base hit by Renteria on an 0-2 pitch, and then Robinson goes the other way for a base hit. First and second. Next to Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla has been so frustrated. He's been working so hard to try and get out of this little funk that he's in. Well, Russa actually wanted to reward him for the hard work that he had done. So he gave him the start yesterday. And I think the frustration continued, but he sat there and he said, I appreciate how hard he's working to get out. That's a good rip there.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Bobby Bowe. Paquette is now on deck. I think he'd like to have that one back.
Well, Mike, just don't get frustrated. Say he got you ready, but he's still talking to himself. That's part of it. When you're not swinging the bat well, the pitches that you normally would crush, and you just foul off.
1-2 pitch to Bonilla. Evens the count. Reachma made the start. Now it's up to the bullpen for Cincinnati. It was Sullivan, Reyes, and now Graves. The 2-2 pitch.
Foul ball. Danny, what's good about this is the Cardinals are showing some life late in the game. That's been one of the frustrating things. It's times when they did not have a lead late in the game, they kind of went down meekly.
Robinson at first, Renteria at second. Bonilla making Graves work here. The 2-2 pitch. High fly ball into center. Rivera going back, makes the play. Renteria tags. He'll move up to third. And it'll be up to Craig Paquette.
What the Cardinals have done, how well they hit in innings 1 through 6. 7 and later, they get a little bit going weakly. Their on-base percentage is lower. Strikeouts are adding up, because you got to remember too that many times you're losing and you're only playing. You know, you're not getting that final at bat, or you are getting the final at bat, but you're going out there, and the average just a little bit lower.
It's up to Pokey, Craig Paquette. First pitch to him, fouled back. Paquette now 32 years of age, hitting .238. He has 3 home runs on the year, 11 RBIs. Robinson at first, Renteria's at third. The next to Paquette. The Cardinals are down to their final strike. The 0-2 breaking ball is fouled away. Paquette hangs in there. Dustin Hermanson, Elmer descends. Tomorrow night on WB11. Paquette trying to extend this game. Vignea's on deck if he can do so. Graves and Paquette. Robinson is off with the pitch, and a base hit could tie this game up. He's at second.
That's a stolen base. You can't go fielders indifference when that's a tying run. Well, that could be huge with his speed.
The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, and a left. Deep left, looking up, gone! Paquette home run! And the Cardinals, who are down to their final strike, have taken the lead. Paquette with his 4th home run.
Boy, I just like it when I see Pokey with a breaking ball, and when you get a hanger, and he jumped all over it. I told you Kerry Robinson's stolen base would be important. But now, you know, you got to see if we can add to this. Watch this pitch. You recognize the breaking ball. Double clutch is hanging up over there. That is a pitch that prior to this year people would not swing at because it's not called a strike. Now with a higher strike, hitters are looking for it up there. He knew he hit it pretty good, but he wasn't sure, and now it sort of sets in. 3-run home run could be the game winner, but it definitely gives us a lead in the ninth.
Here's Pena. He tags this one into right. And Graves and the Reds being booed as they come off. They're down to their final 3 outs. Craig Paquette, he could be the hero. Could he be the hero tonight? 5-4. The Redbirds have regained the lead. They were down to their final strike, and Paquette hits a home run, a 3-run shot to give the Cardinals the lead, 5-4. And Dave Veers will try to close it out.
Right now, that 3-run blast, kept on trying to throw a breaking ball by him. So you can always locate your fastball better than you can a breaking ball. And Graves throws him midnight. Right. Well, right now it looked like Pokey was sitting on it. He got it. It's up to Dave Beers, who's 5 for 5 in save opportunities. He's preparing for the 18th time, and you know, he may not be your classic closer. You think of those guys as strikeout pitchers, but look at this: 21 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed, and it seems like he is over his circulatory problem. But it is a very cool night out, and that's when he doesn't have quite the feel of his split finger pitch.
Eli Marrero is in the game now. He will catch. We want to remind you that following the final out of this game, it's the Midwest Sports Report here on Fox Sports Net.
Eli back there, and boy, wouldn't it be nice to this. Beers gets his 6th save and 6 opportunities, and Alan Bennis gets the victory.
And Andy's off the hook.
And Andy's off the hook.
Good night all around for the Bennises. Here's Juan Castro against Beers. Looks at a strike.
And one of the real advantages for Beers when he had that circulatory problem is he's redeveloped and discovered his fastball. He's getting a lot more outs with it. The velocity is much higher because of throwing it more frequently.
0-2. The strikeouts are up as well.
Yep. So, and Dave and I have talked about it, where his thinking is, you know, I'm getting the fastball and being able to locate it. It's so key for him to get ahead in hitters, and then they fall victim to the splitter. But then he also has that slider. He can throw to the right-handed batters, and he feels like every time he gets hitters out now with his fastball, well, the next time they're going to be looking for it, and that's the times when he's going to go back to his split finger pitch.
It's the kind of win, if you can hold on, that sets the tone for this series. Beers trying to get the first man, Castro.
Danny, it's the kind of victory, if you hold on, that all of a sudden you look back, if you reel off 5 or 6 straight wins, and you say, well, that's what got us started. One swing of the bat.
The 0-2 from Beers. Kelly Stinnett is on deck. And then Tucker. Two balls, 2 strikes. Castro is 1 for 3. The next from Beers, and he got him. Strikes him out. Hey, we want to say congratulations to the daughter of Tom Mee, who is our director and producer many nights for Cardinal baseball. Her name is Katie, and she graduated high school today. So congratulations to her and Tom and their family.
That's great. Also, Charlie Brink from Charleston, Missouri is here with his family, including Dorothy Ann, son-in-law Jerry the Flipper Nail, his daughter Sally Ann Nail, and 2 grandchildren, Brink and James Nail. You know, go Cardinals. Boy, they're going to be happy if we get 2 more outs.
Stinnett is 2 for 3. Pair of singles, a run scored. Ground ball. Polanco. 2 away. And it's up to Tucker.
See, just once that ball went to Polanco, and it's very wet. Got to kind of keep a good handle on it. Polanco was very deliberate in getting that ball over there. Dave using the old tongue depressor, get the mud out of his cleats. It's the modern technology they give pitchers. The old tongue depressor.
Veers trying to close it out. Tucker, who has been struggling, is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly. Has an RBI, his 15th of the season. Ochoa, who is homered in this game, is on deck. If Tucker can extend the game, they're down to their final out.
Where he hit the sacrifice fly, and then the next time up, he hit a line drive that Kerry Robinson made a nice play on in right field. But Tucker stands in the way of Dave Veers and Paquette being the heroes of this one.
To go back to the top half of this inning. You also have to look at Renteria, who's had a tough night in the field getting on with the base hit. Kerry Robinson a base hit. And then Paquette drove him home.
Good points. Greg couldn't have done what he did without those other two.
Right. 1 and 2. And now the Reds are down to their final strike, a position the Cardinals were in just moments ago. Again, the Midwest Sports Report comes your way when we're done here.
Seconds.
Yeah.
I always said we like Dave Veers almost better facing a left-hander than a right-hander.
1-2 pitch. Evens the count. And Samuel has been our producer. Tom McLaughlin on the road with us, our director. Doug Stanton. Stats and graphics have done a great job tonight.
Oh, steady. You stayed with the club the whole time, Doug. Holding their hands. What we're talking about. I mean, that 219 versus right-handers is pretty darn good, but 107 against lefties is exceptional.
He got him, and the Cardinals win it. They come back in the 9th to take the lead. Veers picks up the save. Alan Bennis the win, and the Cardinals take game 1 of this 3-game series 5-4, and Craig Paquette delivers in the clutch a 3-run home run. He was down to his final strike against Graves, who throws in the mid-90s, and knocked it out of here for a 5-4 St. Louis victory, Al.
Oh, it's outstanding. This is the kind of team camaraderie that builds it up and makes you feel like you can go on to a winning streak.
Our final scores: the Cardinals have now won 2 straight. Chicago a half game out. The Cardinals all alone in first place, 5-4. Our final tonight. Our next telecast is at 6 tomorrow night on WB11. For Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Now let's go to the Midwest Sports Desk with Rob and Stephanie. The Cardinals win it in a thriller.